King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. Introduction and historical context. The legend of King Arthur is one of the most enduring and influential stories in Western literature and folklore. This tale has captivated audiences for centuries, with its blend of adventure, romance, and chivalry, centering around the mythical king who ruled Britain and defended it against Saxon invaders. Set in a time of great turmoil and upheaval, the story of King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table has evolved and adapted to suit the needs and values of various cultures and time periods. The origins of the King Arthur legend are shrouded in mystery, with its roots likely extending back to the oral traditions of Celtic Britain. The first known written accounts of the Arthurian legend can be traced back to the 9th and 10th centuries, most notably in the Historia Brittonum by Nennius and the Annales Cambriae. These texts provide only scant information on King Arthur, painting him as a great warrior and leader, but leaving out many of the details that would later become central to the legend. It was during the 12th century that the story of King Arthur truly began to take shape, with the works of Geoffrey of Monmouth, who wrote Historia Regum Britannia, History of the Kings of Britain, and Chrétien de Troyes, who authored various Arthurian romances. These authors greatly expanded upon the earlier accounts of King Arthur, incorporating elements of romance, chivalry, and magic that would become hallmarks of the legend. Despite the richness and popularity of the King Arthur legend, the historical existence of Arthur as an actual person remains a subject of much debate among scholars. Some historians argue that Arthur may have been a real figure, possibly a warlord or a military leader who defended Britain against the invading Saxons during the 5th or 6th century. Others believe that Arthur is purely a myth, a symbolic figure created to represent the ideals of leadership and heroism in a time of great uncertainty. In either case, the King Arthur legend has had a profound and lasting impact on the cultural and literary landscape of the Western world. The stories of King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table continue to be retold and reimagined in various forms, from books and plays to movies and television shows. The timeless themes of heroism, loyalty, and the quest for truth and justice that underpin the Arthurian legend ensure that it remains a compelling and relevant narrative for generations to come. The birth and rise of Arthur. The story of King Arthur's birth and rise to power begins with his parents, Uther Pendragon, the King of Britain, and Igraine, the Duchess of Cornwall. Uther was captivated by Igraine's beauty and sought to make her his own, despite her being married to Duke Gaulois of Cornwall. The great wizard Merlin, who possessed magical powers and acted as an advisor to Uther, agreed to help Uther win Igraine's heart, but at a price. Merlin demanded that Uther promise to give him the child born of their union. Merlin used his magic to disguise Uther as Gaulois, allowing him to enter the Duke's castle and spend a night with Igraine. That same night, the real Gaulois was killed in battle, and Igraine eventually became Uther's wife. When Arthur was born, Uther kept his promise and handed the child over to Merlin, who took the boy away to be raised in secret by a nobleman named Ector. Growing up in Ector's household, Arthur was unaware of his true lineage. His life took a dramatic turn when, after Uther's death, the kingdom fell into chaos and disarray, with various nobles vying for the throne. Merlin intervened by placing a magical sword known as Excalibur into a stone. An inscription on the stone declared that whoever could pull the sword from it would be the rightful king of Britain. Many powerful and ambitious men attempted to draw the sword, but none succeeded. As a young man, Arthur attended a tournament with his foster brother, Kay. When Kay needed a sword for the competition, Arthur, unaware of the significance of the sword in the stone, pulled it out effortlessly to bring it to his brother. As the news of Arthur's feat spread, the people of Britain recognized him as their true king, fulfilling the prophecy. Although some nobles initially opposed his claim to the throne due to his youth and unknown parentage, Merlin revealed Arthur's true lineage, and he was eventually accepted as the rightful king. With his ascension to the throne, Arthur ushered in a new era of peace and prosperity for Britain. Guided by Merlin's wisdom and armed with the legendary sword Excalibur, Arthur embarked on a journey to unite the land and establish a kingdom built on the principles of justice, honor, and chivalry. The establishment of Camelot. With King Arthur's rise to power, he set about establishing the legendary city of Camelot as his capital. Camelot would become the center of Arthur's realm, representing an idealized vision of a just and prosperous kingdom. It was here that Arthur would gather his most trusted knights, known as the Knights of the Round Table, and create a fellowship dedicated to the defense of the realm and the pursuit of chivalry. A crucial event in the establishment of Camelot was Arthur's marriage to the beautiful and virtuous Guinevere. Their union was celebrated throughout the land, and Guinevere would go on to become an important figure in her own right, both as a queen and as a central character in the Arthurian legend. Their marriage would not only solidify Arthur's reign, but also serve as a symbol of the harmony and prosperity that characterized Camelot. The creation of the Round Table was another key aspect of Camelot's establishment. The table was a gift from Arthur's father-in-law, King Leodegrance of Camelot, who had received it from Merlin. This massive and perfectly round table had seats for 150 knights, symbolizing the unity and equality of those who sat at it. Each knight's seat bore his name inscribed in gold, and the table was designed so that no one sat at its head, reflecting the idea that all the knights were equals in their pursuit of justice and chivalry. The Knights of the Round Table, which included renowned figures such as Lancelot, Gawain, Galahad, and Percival, would become the cornerstone of Arthur's reign. They were bound by a code of honor that required them to protect the weak, uphold justice, and serve their king and country. Together, they would embark on numerous adventures and quests that would test their mettle and demonstrate their unwavering commitment to the ideals of Camelot. Throughout the establishment of Camelot and the formation of the Round Table, Merlin continued to play a critical role as an advisor and mentor to King Arthur. His wisdom and foresight, combined with his magical abilities, made him an invaluable asset in navigating the challenges of ruling a kingdom. Merlin's guidance would help Arthur navigate not only the political landscape of his time, but also the trials and tribulations that would test the strength of Camelot and its ideals. The adventures of the Knights of the Round Table. The Knights of the Round Table were renowned for their bravery, loyalty, and dedication to the ideals of chivalry. Throughout the Arthurian legend, each knight embarked on various quests and adventures that would showcase their heroism and devotion to the kingdom of Camelot. Lancelot, perhaps the most famous of Arthur's knights, was known for his exceptional combat skills, unwavering loyalty to King Arthur, and his tragic love affair with Queen Guinevere. Lancelot participated in numerous quests, including the rescue of Queen Guinevere from the clutches of the villainous Meleagrance and the defeat of the treacherous knight Turquine. Despite his many heroic deeds, Lancelot's forbidden love for Guinevere would ultimately lead to the downfall of Camelot. Galahad, the son of Lancelot and Elaine, was renowned for his purity and spiritual perfection. He is most famously associated with the quest for the Holy Grail, a sacred relic believed to possess miraculous powers and divine grace. Galahad's unwavering faith and virtue allowed him to achieve what no other knight could, as he successfully found the Holy Grail and was granted a vision of the divine. Gawain, a nephew of King Arthur and one of the most chivalrous knights, is best known for his encounter with the mysterious Green Knight. In the story of Gawain and the Green Knight, Gawain accepts a challenge from the supernatural being, ultimately learning valuable lessons about honor, courage, and humility. Gawain's character embodies the ideals of the chivalric code, and his adventures demonstrate the importance of upholding one's word and facing challenges with integrity. Percival, another key figure in the Arthurian legend, is often portrayed as a naive and inexperienced knight who embarks on a journey of self-discovery and growth. He plays a significant role in the quest for the Holy Grail, as his innocence and purity allow him to witness the sacred vessel. Percival's story highlights the importance of humility and spiritual growth in the pursuit of chivalric ideals. In addition to these prominent knights, numerous other members of the Round Table embarked on their own adventures and quests, each contributing to the enduring legacy of King Arthur and his kingdom. These knights, such as Tristan, Bedivere, and Bors, faced countless challenges, enemies, and moral dilemmas, their stories weaving together to create the rich tapestry of the Arthurian legend. Through their exploits, the Knights of the Round Table became symbols of the virtues of bravery, honor, and loyalty, representing the very best of what Camelot had to offer. The quest for the Holy Grail. The Holy Grail is one of the most significant and enduring symbols in Arthurian legend. Believed to be the cup used by Jesus Christ during the Last Supper and later used to collect his blood at the crucifixion, the Grail represents divine grace, healing, and spiritual enlightenment. In the context of the Arthurian legend, the quest for the Holy Grail serves as a metaphor for the pursuit of spiritual growth and the knight's efforts to embody the chivalric ideals of Camelot. The quest for the Holy Grail is not a single unified narrative, but rather a collection of individual journeys and trials faced by the Knights of the Round Table. Each knight's quest reflects their unique strengths, weaknesses, and spiritual growth. For some, the quest is a path to redemption, while for others, it is an opportunity to demonstrate their unwavering faith and purity. Among the knights who embark on the quest for the Grail, three figures stand out as central to the story: Lancelot, Percival, and Galahad. Lancelot, despite his many heroic deeds, is unable to fully grasp the spiritual significance of the Grail due to his adulterous love for Queen Guinevere. His quest ultimately leads him to a deeper understanding of his own imperfections and the need for penance. Percival, initially naive and inexperienced, learns the importance of humility, compassion, and spiritual growth throughout his journey. While he does not ultimately attain the Grail, his encounters with various hermits, knights, and mystical beings help him grow into a more spiritually attuned and chivalrous knight. The quest for the Holy Grail reaches its climax with Galahad, the paragon of purity and virtue. Galahad's unwavering faith and spiritual perfection allow him to succeed where others have failed. He is granted a vision of the Grail and experiences divine communion with God, a reward befitting his pure and virtuous character. The eventual discovery of the Grail by Galahad serves as both a triumph and a warning within the Arthurian legend. While the Grail represents the ultimate spiritual achievement for the knights, its attainment also signifies the beginning of the end for Camelot. As the Grail is discovered and the quest comes to an end, the tensions and betrayals that have long simmered beneath the surface of Camelot begin to come to light, setting the stage for the kingdom's tragic downfall. The love triangle: Arthur, Guinevere, and Lancelot. One of the most central and tragic aspects of the Arthurian legend is the love triangle involving King Arthur, Queen Guinevere, and Lancelot. The passionate but forbidden romance between Lancelot and Guinevere would ultimately contribute to the downfall of Camelot, as their love affair threatened the unity and stability of the kingdom and the Round Table. The romance between Lancelot and Guinevere began as a deep mutual admiration and respect, with Lancelot serving as one of Arthur's most loyal and skilled knights, and Guinevere representing the epitome of beauty and virtue. Over time, their admiration for each other turned into a passionate love, even though they were both keenly aware of the betrayal their relationship represented. Lancelot and Guinevere's love affair would become a focal point of the Arthurian narrative, highlighting the complex interplay between loyalty, honor, and desire. The impact of Lancelot and Guinevere's affair on Camelot and the Round Table was far-reaching and devastating. Their betrayal of Arthur threatened the very foundation of the kingdom, as it cast a shadow over the chivalric ideals that Camelot was built upon. The love affair also created divisions within the ranks of the Knights of the Round Table, as some knights sided with Lancelot and others remained loyal to Arthur. The once unified fellowship of knights began to fracture, weakening the strength and unity of the kingdom as a whole. Arthur's response to the betrayal of Lancelot and Guinevere was a mixture of heartbreak, anger, and disappointment. As a king and husband, he felt deeply betrayed by those closest to him. However, as a just and honorable ruler, he was also bound by his duty to uphold the laws of his kingdom. Arthur was ultimately forced to order Guinevere's execution for her infidelity, though she would later be rescued by Lancelot. The love triangle between Arthur, Guinevere, and Lancelot serves as a tragic reminder of the fragility of the ideals of Camelot. Despite their best intentions and their unwavering commitment to the pursuit of justice and chivalry, even the most noble and virtuous characters were ultimately unable to escape the destructive power of love and betrayal. The tragedy of their intertwined fates would set the stage for the final chapters of the Arthurian legend, as Camelot's once great fellowship of knights crumbled and the kingdom itself faced its inevitable decline. The betrayal of Mordred and the fall of Camelot. The ultimate downfall of Camelot can be traced to the betrayal of Mordred, King Arthur's own nephew and illegitimate son, who sought to usurp the throne and bring ruin to the kingdom. Mordred's treachery and the subsequent rebellion against Arthur would lead to a climactic battle and the tragic end of the Arthurian legend. Mordred was the son of Arthur's half-sister Morgause, and according to some versions of the legend, the result of an unknowing incestuous encounter between Arthur and Morgause. Raised in secret, Mordred would later emerge as a skilled and ambitious knight, but his true motivations were driven by a desire for power and revenge against the father who had abandoned him. Mordred's hatred for Arthur was further fueled by the manipulations of his mother, Morgause, and his aunt, the sorceress Morgan Le Fay, both of whom harbored their own grudges against the king. As the love triangle between Arthur, Guinevere, and Lancelot caused divisions within the Knights of the Round Table, Mordred saw his opportunity to strike. He cunningly manipulated events to his advantage, exploiting the weakness and disarray within Camelot. With the support of disillusioned knights and nobles, Mordred launched a rebellion against Arthur, claiming the throne for himself and plunging the kingdom into civil war. The conflict between Arthur and Mordred culminated in the fateful Battle of Camelot, a brutal and bloody confrontation that would claim the lives of many of the remaining knights of the Round Table. In the final moments of the battle, Arthur and Mordred faced each other in single combat. Although Arthur succeeded in mortally wounding Mordred, he himself was gravely injured in the process. The Battle of Camelot marked the end of the once great kingdom of Camelot, as both Arthur and Mordred succumbed to their injuries, and the surviving knights were scattered to the wind. The ideals of justice, honor, and chivalry that had once defined the reign of King Arthur were lost in the chaos and destruction that followed, and the dream of Camelot faded into the mists of time, becoming the stuff of legend and myth. The legacy of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. Despite the tragic end of Camelot, the story of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table has continued to captivate audiences for centuries. The enduring appeal of the Arthurian legend can be attributed to its timeless themes, compelling characters, and the universal ideals of justice, honor, and chivalry that it embodies. This powerful narrative has left an indelible mark on literature, art, and media, inspiring countless adaptations and interpretations throughout history. The cultural impact of the Arthurian legend is vast and far-reaching, with its influence evident in a wide range of creative works. Throughout the centuries, poets, playwrights, and authors have drawn inspiration from the story of King Arthur, creating works such as Thomas Malory's Le Morte d'Arthur, Alfred, Lord Tennyson's Idylls of the King, and T.H. White's The Once and Future King. These literary adaptations have, in turn, inspired numerous works of visual art, with artists such as the Pre-Raphaelites creating iconic images of Arthurian characters and scenes. The Arthurian legend has also found a home in modern media, with film, television, and stage adaptations bringing the story to life for new generations. Classic films like Excalibur and Monty Python and the Holy Grail offer different interpretations of the legend, while television series such as Merlin and Camelot explore the characters and themes from fresh perspectives. Stage productions like the musical Camelot and the Broadway hit Spamalot showcase the versatility of the Arthurian narrative, highlighting its ability to adapt to a variety of genres and styles. Modern interpretations and adaptations of the Arthurian legend often reflect the values and concerns of the times in which they were created. While some adaptations emphasize the romantic and chivalric aspects of the story, others focus on the darker, more complex themes of betrayal, human weakness, and the inevitable decline of even the most noble of kingdoms. Regardless of the interpretation, the story of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table remains a powerful and enduring symbol of the human capacity for heroism, loyalty, and the pursuit of a higher ideal. In conclusion, the legacy of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table is a testament to the timeless appeal of their story and the ideals they represent. The enduring resonance of the Arthurian legend serves as a reminder that, even in the face of tragedy and betrayal, the pursuit of justice, honor, and chivalry remains a source of inspiration and hope for generations to come.